The Mahabharata is not merely an account of events, it is a reflection of life itself. A saga of righteousness and deceit, of Dharma and Adharma, of divine intervention and human choices. The Kurukshetra war was not an ordinary battle, it was one of the most devastating conflicts in history. Each day, thousands perished. Some of the greatest warriors met their tragic end, and an entire generation of Kshatriyas was wiped out. Yet, amidst this immense destruction, one question continues to haunt us. Why did Sri Krishna, the Supreme Being, not stop this war? If he was truly divine, could he not have prevented the bloodshed? If he was the protector of Dharma, why did he allow such devastation? Was this war truly necessary? To find the answer, we must look deeper into the roots of the conflict, the workings of karma, and the cosmic plan that transcended human understanding. Many believe Sri Krishna wanted war. But the truth is, he did everything in his power to prevent it. The seeds of conflict were sown much earlier, perhaps even before the birth of the Pandavas and Kauravas. Yet one of the final opportunities to avert war came when Sri Krishna himself went to Hastinapur as a peace messenger, seeking to convince the Kauravas to avoid conflict. The court of Hastinapur was filled with some of the greatest warriors and scholars: Bhishma, the revered grandsire; Dronacharya, the esteemed teacher; Kripacharya, the learned sage; and Dhritarashtra, the blind king who still held power in his hands. Sri Krishna stood before them, urging them to grant the Pandavas their rightful share. The Pandavas were not demanding a kingdom, a city, or even a palace. They did not seek the return of Indraprastha, nor did they ask for wealth or power. Sri Krishna's request was simple yet profound: 5 villages. Just 5 small settlements in the vast Kuru Empire where the Pandavas could live in peace. But Duryodhana, blinded by arrogance, refused. His pride and hatred had consumed him. He boldly declared that he would not give them even a single village, not even a needlepoint of land. Such arrogance was not born overnight, it was the result of years of unchecked power, of indulgence, and of a king, Dhritarashtra, who had turned a blind eye to his son's vices. Sri Krishna's final attempt at peace was ignored. But Duryodhana did not stop at mere rejection. In his audacity, he even sought to capture Sri Krishna. Yet how can one bind the boundless? Laughing at his foolishness, Sri Krishna revealed his divine form, illuminating the court with his limitless power. The sight was beyond human comprehension. But even after witnessing his divinity, Duryodhana's heart remained steeped in ego and hatred. It was then that Sri Krishna understood, war was inevitable. But was Sri Krishna the cause of the war? No. He had given them a chance, a choice. But when Adharma refuses to change, its downfall becomes inevitable. One of the most profound reasons why Sri Krishna did not stop the war lies in the law of karma. Even though he was the Supreme Being, Sri Krishna never directly interfered with the course of karma. The Mahabharata was not merely a battle between cousins, it was the culmination of accumulated karma over generations. From the moment Dhritarashtra unfairly denied the throne to Pandu's sons, injustice had continued unchecked. From repeated attempts to kill the Pandavas to ruling with Adharma, every action led to its inevitable consequence. The Kauravas had committed countless offences. When Draupadi was humiliated in the Kaurav court, Sri Krishna saved her, but he did not destroy those who wronged her. They were allowed to choose their own path. When the Pandavas were sent into exile, he could have used his divine powers to restore them instantly, yet he didn't. He let karma take its course. Sri Krishna gave Karna an opportunity to change his fate, revealing his true identity as Kunti's son. But Karna, bound by his loyalty and debts to Duryodhana, made his own choice. But beyond karma, there was another force at play: Kaal, time. Not even the Supreme Being interferes with the course of time. Sri Krishna, in many instances, destroyed those who were destined to perish at his hands, such as Kans, Shishupal, and many others. However, there were others whom he chose not to kill, allowing fate to take its course. For example, Kalevan was not slain by Sri Krishna. Instead, he laid him to Muchukund, who was destined to be his destroyer. Each warrior had a role to play in the grand design, meeting their end as destined. Zarasandh, though a formidable threat, was not killed by Sri Krishna. Instead, Sri Krishna orchestrated circumstances for Bhim to defeat him, as it was Bhim's destiny to slay him. This aligns with Sri Krishna's role, not as an enforcer of fate, but as a guide ensuring that Dharma unfolds in its rightful course. If Sri Krishna had stopped the war, he would have been breaking the very law of the universe that he came to uphold. The Kauravas had sown the seeds of their own destruction, and the war was simply the inevitable consequence of their choices. Just as fire burns everything in its path, Adharma, when left unchecked, consumes all. The Mahabharata was not a war of ambition, it was a war of righteousness. And in that great battle, Sri Krishna had to let both karma and time unfold as destined. Though capable of changing everything, he never interfered with the results of past actions. As the divine guide, his role was to uphold dharma, not to alter karma. Even Arjuna, the greatest warrior, hesitated. Standing on the battlefield, he dropped his bow, overwhelmed by emotions. He saw his teachers, elders, and family members standing against him. How could he fight them? How could he raise his weapon against his own kin? In this moment of doubt, Sri Krishna revealed the Bhagavad Gita, the eternal wisdom of life, duty, and truth. Sri Krishna explained that the body is temporary, but the soul is eternal. It cannot be pierced by weapons, burned by fire, or destroyed in any way. Those who are born will eventually perish, and those who perish will be reborn. Life and death are mere transitions in the journey of the soul. He reminded Arjuna that as a Kshatriya, his duty was to uphold Dharma. Turning away from battle would not bring peace, it would only allow Adharma to prevail. Yet, Sri Krishna did not force Arjuna to fight. He did not impose his will but simply revealed the ultimate truth, showing him the path of righteousness. Enlightened by this wisdom, Arjuna picked up his bow once more, ready to fulfill his duty. Sri Krishna's role was never to stop the war, his purpose was to guide Arjuna toward the right choice. He did not ask him to fight for revenge, personal gain, or victory. He asked him to fight because it was his dharma. This was Sri Krishna's role, to illuminate the path of righteousness. The Mahabharata was not just a personal conflict, it was a cosmic necessity. For years, Adharma had been left unchecked, growing without restraint. Bhishma, the wise elder, remained silent when Draupadi was humiliated. Bound by his vow to protect the throne, he stood with injustice rather than against it. Dronacharya, the great teacher, continued to support the Kauravas despite knowing their wrongdoing. He was bound by loyalty, even if it meant aligning with those upholding Adharma. Karna, a noble warrior, refused to leave Duryodhana out of misplaced loyalty, even though he knew his actions were unjust. Dhritarashtra, the king, turned a blind eye to his son's arrogance, refusing to restrain him. Their silence and inaction allowed Adharma to grow unchecked. If Sri Krishna had forcibly stopped the war, would it have ended Adharma? Would Duryodhana have changed? Would it have erased the unrighteous deeds of the Kauravas? Would the injustice in Hastinapur have disappeared? Absolutely not. When Adharma reaches its peak, it collapses under its own weight. Dharma cannot be imposed, it must be chosen. The war was necessary because the world needed to witness the downfall of Adharma. It was the final cleansing. The destruction of the Kauravas was not Sri Krishna's doing, it was the inevitable result of their own choices. To reveal the ultimate truth of the universe, Sri Krishna showed Arjuna his Vishwaroop, the universal form. In this divine vision, Arjuna saw countless warriors being swallowed by the jaws of time, their fates already sealed. Sri Krishna declared, "I am time, the great destroyer of worlds. Even without you, all these warriors will perish." This moment revealed that the war was not Sri Krishna's will, it was the natural course of the universe, restoring Dharma itself. The Kauravas were already destined to fall. Sri Krishna also proclaimed, "All beings are born in me, and all will ultimately merge into me." This is the cycle of creation and destruction, an eternal transformation. This was the cosmic truth. Everything is bound by time, and change is inevitable. Sri Krishna was merely the divine guide, showing the world that justice always prevails, no matter how long it takes. The Mahabharata was not just a battle, it was the unfolding of the universe's grand design, where Adharma had to perish for Dharma to thrive as per the divine will. So, did Sri Krishna fail to stop the war? Definitely not. He tried to prevent it through diplomacy. He guided Arjuna on the battlefield. He ensured that Dharma was upheld. He was capable of doing anything, but he never interfered with karma. Even today, people ask, why doesn't God stop suffering? But the truth is, every action has consequences. Just as Sri Krishna did not stop the war, he does not interfere with the karma of individuals. He does not impose righteousness, he only illuminates the path. But he always provides guidance. The Bhagavad Gita remains his voice, his wisdom, his eternal presence in our lives. It is up to us to listen, understand, and choose the right path. The Mahabharata teaches us that righteousness will always triumph, but it is our responsibility to uphold it. Sri Krishna did not stop the war because it was never about preventing destruction, it was about ensuring that righteousness was restored. If mere words could reform the wicked, the great war of Mahabharata would never have taken place. He first went as a peace messenger, but when those upholding Adharma refused to listen, refused to change, and remained firm in their arrogance, war became inevitable. When Adharma reaches its peak, destruction is no longer a choice, it is destiny. The Mahabharata is not just history, it is a lesson for all times. Even today, we face situations where injustice prevails, where wrongdoing seems to go unpunished. But Krishna's message remains clear, stand for righteousness, even when the odds are against you. Silence in the face of injustice allows Adharma to grow unchecked. We all have choices. Do we remain passive like Bhishma and Dronacharya, supporting the wrong due to misplaced loyalty? Or do we rise like Arjuna, guided by Dharma despite personal dilemmas? Krishna did not force Arjuna, he enlightened him. Similarly, life presents us with choices, but it is up to us to act with wisdom, courage, and righteousness. This is the eternal truth. Dharma must rise, Adharma must fall, and karma will always take its course, just as Krishna ensured in the Mahabharata. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Vibes of Divinity. Share your thoughts in the comments, inspire, and stay inspired.